Imagine waking up tomorrow, but you're not on Earth anymore. Outside your window, there isn't a blue sky, it's an endless black void, with a sun that might be 3 times larger than you've ever seen. Or so far away it barely looks like a star. Some planets will freeze you solid before you take your first breath. Others would crush you with the atmosphere so heavy that even submarines couldn't survive it. On one world, a single day lasts longer than an entire year. On another, storms have been raging for centuries without ever stopping. But today, we're changing one rule. For the next few minutes, you'll be able to survive anywhere. You'll still feel the heat, you'll still experience the gravity, the skies, the strange landscapes, and the terrifying weather, but nothing can kill you. So, what would it actually feel like to spend one day on every planet in our solar system? Let's start with the closest world to the sun. The first thing you notice is not the heat, it's the silence. There's no birds, no wind, no rustling leaves, because Mercury has almost no atmosphere. If a giant boulder crashed just a few feet away, you'd see the impact, but you wouldn't hear it through the air. Then you look up. The sun dominates the sky, appearing nearly 3 times larger than it does from Earth. Standing there, it feels less like a distant star and more like a wall of fire hanging above the horizon. The ground beneath you is covered in ancient craters that may have remained almost unchanged for billions of years. Walking across Mercury feels like exploring a time capsule from the birth of the solar system. But Mercury's biggest surprise comes when the sun begins to move. Because the planet's unusual orbit, the sun can appear to stop, slowly reverse direction, and then continue across the sky again. It's one of the strangest sunrises anywhere in the solar system. As lonely and lifeless as Mercury feels, it's almost peaceful. Our next stop. Mercury may look intimidating, but Venus is where the solar system truly becomes hostile. As you arrive, the first thing you notice is not the ground, it's the sky. Instead of blue, you're surrounded by thick yellow orange clouds that completely block the sun. Daytime here feels strangely dim, almost like you're standing outside just before a thunderstorm that never ends. The air is so dense, it would feel like walking at the bottom of the ocean, pressing against your entire body with every step. Around you, the rocky landscape stretches for miles, scattered with ancient volcanoes and fields of dark, hardened lava. Then there's the heat. Even though you can survive it, you'd still feel an overwhelming wave of warmth unlike anything on Earth. Venus is actually hotter than Mercury, despite being further from the sun because its thick atmosphere traps heat like an enormous greenhouse. Look up and you might catch something even stranger. The sun would rise in the west and set in the east. That's because Venus spins in the opposite direction of almost every other planet in our solar system. Mercury was silent, Venus feels alive, but only because it's trying to overwhelm everything that visits it. And somehow, the worlds ahead only become stranger. After surviving Mercury's silence and Venus's heat, returning to Earth almost feels unreal. For the first time, you actually hear something. Wind moves through the trees, waves crash against the shore, birds call overhead. It's easy to forget things like this actually are incredibly rare in our solar system. Look up and the sky is blue. The color doesn't come from the ocean though. It comes from our atmosphere scattering sunlight in every direction. It's something so familiar that most of us never stop appreciating it. Earth sits in what scientists call the Goldilocks zone. It's not too hot, not too cold. Liquid water can exist across most of the planet's surface, creating rivers, oceans, rain, and eventually life. As far as we know, this tiny blue world is still the only place in the universe where forests can grow, whales can sing, and billions of people can look up at the same stars and wonder what's out there. After seeing two lifeless worlds, you realize something surprising. Earth isn't the ordinary planet, it's more like an exception. And our next destination is the first place humanity may actually call a second home. As your feet touch the surface of Mars, one thing becomes immediately clear. This world feels empty. The sky isn't blue like Earth's, instead it's covered in a dusty orange haze that stretches across the endless deserts of rocks, canyons, and ancient volcanoes. With only about a third of Earth's gravity, every step feels lighter. You can jump higher, land softer, and carry yourself with almost effortless movement. Then the wind begins to blow. Mars has some of the largest dust storms in the entire solar system. Some grow so massive that they swallow the entire planet, lasting for weeks or even months. The strange part is that even though the storms are enormous, the thin atmosphere means that they wouldn't even feel nearly as powerful as the hurricanes on Earth. In the distance stands Olympus Mons, the tallest volcano ever discovered, at nearly 3 times the height of Mount Everest. It's so massive that from the ground, you wouldn't even realize you were standing on a volcano. Of every planet we've visited so far, Mars feels the most familiar. Maybe that's why humans dream of living there one day. But the next world isn't a place you can stand on at all. It's a giant, where the very idea of solid ground disappears. Jupiter doesn't welcome visitors, it swallows them. As you descend through the clouds, the first thing you notice is the sheer size of this planet. More than 1,300 Earths could fit inside of Jupiter. Yet, even after falling for miles, you're still nowhere near anything that resembles a surface. Instead, you're surrounded by endless layers of swirling clouds painted in shades of white, orange, and brown. Towering storms stretch farther than any eye can see, twisting around the planet in massive bands that race across the horizon. Then, you finally spot it, the Great Red Spot. It's not just a storm, it's a hurricane so enormous that Earth itself could fit inside it. Even more incredible, scientists have watched this rage for hundreds of years and it's still going. As you sink deeper, the pressure around you continues to rise. The gas becomes thicker and thicker until it no longer feels like air at all. Somewhere far below, scientists believe that hydrogen is squeezed so tightly that it transforms into a strange liquid metal, capable of conducting electricity. Jupiter isn't a world of weather, it is weather. And somehow the next planet proves that even a gas giant can be beautiful. From a distance, it's a planet that everyone recognizes. Its enormous rings stretch across space like giant bands of glass, making Saturn look less like a planet and more like an art piece floating through the darkness. As you drift closer, you realize the rings aren't solid at all. They're made of billions of pieces of ice and rock, ranging from tiny grains no bigger than dust to chunks as large as mountains. Each one races around Saturn at incredible speeds, creating one of the most breathtaking sights in the entire solar system. Below them, soft golden clouds wrap around the planet in smooth bands. Compared to Jupiter, Saturn's atmosphere appears calm. But don't let that fool you. Powerful winds still race across the planet at speeds faster than the strongest hurricanes on Earth. Then you reach the North Pole. Instead of a normal storm, you find something almost impossible. A massive cloud shaped like a perfect hexagon. Scientists have studied this for decades and still no one fully understands why nature carved such a precise shape into the atmosphere. Saturn feels less like a place and more like a work of art, designed in the universe itself. But our next destination is stranger than anything we've seen so far. A world so unusual that even the seasons make almost no sense. Uranus breaks almost every expectation you have about a planet. The first thing you notice is not the color or its size, it's the way it spins. Unlike every planet we visited so far, Uranus is tilted almost completely on its side, as if something enormous knocked it over billions of years ago. Because of that, parts of the planet experience daylight that can last for decades before giving away to decades of darkness. As you float through the pale blue atmosphere, everything feels strangely calm. There are no colorful cloud bands like Jupiter or Saturn, just a quiet world wrapped in a cold blue haze created by methane high above the clouds. But don't mistake calm for comfortable. Uranus is one of the coldest planets in the entire solar system, with temperatures dropping hundreds of degrees below zero. Even with your ability to survive, the cold would still feel endless. Far below, scientists have believed the planet hides a deep ocean unlike anything on Earth. One made not of water but superheated liquids compressed under unimaginable pressure. Uranus doesn't feel dramatic. it feels mysterious. And our final destination lies even farther from the warmth of the sun, where the winds become faster than anywhere else in the solar system. By the time you reach Neptune, the sun barely looks like the one you remember from Earth. It's no longer a blazing light filling the sky. Instead, it shines an incredible bright star, casting a dim blue glow across the most distant planet in our journey. At first, Neptune seems quiet, but it's hiding the most violent weather in our solar system. Powerful winds race through the atmosphere at over 1,200 miles per hour, faster than the speed of sound on Earth. If you could watch the clouds from above, you'd see enormous dark storms forming, drifting across the planet and disappearing almost as mysteriously as they arrived. The deep blue color surrounding you from the methane in the atmosphere, giving Neptune a cold beauty unlike any other world we've ever seen. As you descend further, the pressure increases dramatically, crushing layer after layer of gas beneath you. Deep inside, the scientists believe carbon atoms may squeeze so intensely that they form tiny diamonds before slowly sinking towards the planet's core. A planet where diamonds could literally fall from the sky, it almost seems like a science fiction. Yet it's one of the most mysterious things that make Neptune such an unforgettable ending to our journey across the solar system. After traveling across the entire solar system, one thing becomes impossible to ignore. Every planet has something incredible to offer. Mercury showed us a world frozen in silence beneath the enormous sun. Venus reminded us of how a planet can become beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Mars gave us a glimpse of humanity's future, while Jupiter and Saturn proved that some worlds are almost too massive for the human mind to even comprehend. Then came Uranus and Neptune, distant, mysterious giants where the laws of nature begin to almost feel unfamiliar. And yet, after seeing all of them, I think the most surprising discovery is not about another planet. It's about our own. Earth isn't just where we happen to live. It's an unbelievably rare combination of the exact coordinates needed for oceans, forests, animals, and ultimately us. Every sunrise, every breath of fresh air, and every sound of life exists because our planet won what feels like a cosmic lottery. So if you had the chance to spend one safe day on any planet we visited, which one would you choose? Let me know down below, and if you enjoyed exploring our solar system with me, there's an entire universe of questions still waiting to be answered. I'll see you on the next one.